morning. Today you're going to fill in your toolkit, so make sure you have this, and if you need some headphones, they're on the side counter for you. We're going to start reviewing the topics that we learned in trimester 2 because you have your trimester final next Friday. So each day we're going to tackle a topic and spend some time on it. We're going to fill in a toolkit. You'll have an assignment just to practice and review. Okay, so today's is percents. I want to remind you that percent literally means percent or per hundred. If you have 50 out of 100 blocks shaded, then we would say that 50% of the blocks are gray. I also want to remind you of this graphic organizer that we used when we took this test the first time. It is probably still in your page protector that you have. You're welcome to use that. You're also welcome to make a new one and stick it in your page protector, or just create this on your paper. So this problem says, what is 24% of 120? And I want to remind you of the key words. Of is our whole, is the part. So if you can locate the parts in the problem that say of and is, you'll be able to see where to put them. So let's get this set up. We're always going to have 100 in the denominator here, and the percent goes on top of that. Okay, and then we look at the part of the problem that has either an of or an is with it. You can see it says of 120. So that means it's going to go down here. And it says what is, that means we don't know what is. This is the unknown right here that we're solving for. Okay, take a minute. I want you to remember how to do this. If you don't have a calculator yet, go grab one. Pause the video. I want you to cross multiply and divide to find out what that part is. I forgot to grab myself a calculator, and I went to go grab one out of my bag, but it's not working. I can't get it to turn on. So you're gonna have to see my scratch work on here. So 120 times 24. Okay, and then if you divide this by 100, you're just moving the decimal place over 2 spaces, but for those of you that want to see it, I'll just show it to you. But you are welcome to use a calculator when you're doing this. Okay, and we want to answer in a complete sentence, so we're going to say 28.8 is 24% of 120. Now, in my class, I didn't really teach you guys how to use an equation because it can be tricky. And it doesn't always work if you're looking for certain parts of the problem. In this case, you can use an equation. You can take the 120 and multiply by this percent as a decimal to get the answer. And if you do that, you're also going to get 28.8. Okay. All right, let's make sure that we know some vocabulary. This is key. If you don't know it, you're going to have a really hard time on the final. Okay, so let me scoot this up. All right. So I'm going to read the definition, then we're going to figure out which one it is. This is the unit where we had a word bank. The word bank should still be in your binder if you have made sure to keep all of your papers for this trimester. It says a percentage that is paid for borrowing money or given for a savings account. Okay, that is going to be your simple interest, C. A decrease in the percent of the selling price of a product. So if the price is going down, that is a markdown. That is A percent paid as a thank you for service. Okay, that is a tip. That is something that you give somebody when they give you good service, or any service for that matter. An increase in percent of the selling price of a product. Okay, that is when they make the product cost more money. And that would be a markup. This is going to be B, markup. A percent added to a purchase that goes to the government. Okay, if you're buying something and you pay extra, it's called tax. Okay, this is common. If you've ever purchased something, you know that a little bit of money gets tagged on there that is going to the government, and it's called tax. The last one, a percent that is taken out of wages and paid to the government. Okay, well, that's your income. Your wages are your income. And so we call that income tax. That is D. Okay, so now you have a good understanding of the vocabulary here. Now, I want to just remind you that when we're solving problems that involve all of these things, you're first going to find that percentage, and then you're going to either add it or subtract it from the original, okay? So for instance, for markdown, I would find the percentage of markdown and subtract it from the original. Now markup is exactly how it sounds. It's going up, okay? So when you find the markup, you are adding it. This is an increase. The price is going up. Sales tax, that's what this is right here. Sales tax doesn't make the price of the object go down or up. It goes up. You have to pay a little bit more, so this is also an increase. Tip. Are you paying more when you give somebody a tip or less? You're paying more. You're going to be adding more onto the cost of whatever it was, whatever service that you paid for. This is an increase. Income tax. This is the one that trips you guys up sometimes. Income tax, the money is being taken away from you. So you have your gross income, the amount of money that your employer pays you, you do not get to keep it all. Okay, that money gets taken out of your paycheck here, and that is a decrease. Okay. Simple interest. Okay, simple interest drums to its own beat, you guys. You're going to have an equation for this, and we'll talk about that equation at the bottom of our toolkit. But whatever interest is earned or owed, it is added to the original. Okay, it's added to the original price. So it's increasing. It's either increasing how much you owe if you borrowed money, or it's increasing how much money you have if you invested money. Okay, so let's do a couple of examples, and then you guys can work on this on your own. First one here. Mr. Anchor purchases a large coffee for $3.25 at Mojo's. He will be charged 8.5% tax and would like to leave a tip for the barista that is 20% tip. What will his total charge be? Okay, so we're going to use proportions here because we spent a lot of time in class learning that. I want to remind you that when you are calculating tax and then tip, we're going to use $3.25 as our original. The reason we're using that is because our percent, our tip you shouldn't be paying, giving your server a tip based on taxes. We want the original price, okay? I would like it if you tried this on your own, and then pause it for a second, and then we'll move on in just a second. All right, let's see how it goes. First thing I want to do is I want to calculate that tax. So I'm going to use the graphic organizer from above. Oh boy, I still don't have a calculator. This is going to be brutal. Okay, so we always have 100 here. The tax rate is 8.5. And the original cost of the coffee is $3.25. Let me see if I can get this to work here. Oh, still no. Okay. All right, I guess I'm gonna rough it. I'm gonna get a piece of scratch paper though, so I don't make a big mess on your notes. All right, I've got a piece of paper here that I'm gonna do this on. You could do this on your calculator while I'm doing my calculations longhand. That's what we call it. And I hope I don't make a mistake because I'm trying to go quick here for your guys' sake. Okay, so when I multiplied and then divided by 100, I'm getting 28 cents, okay, as my tax. And hopefully I didn't make a mistake on that. You guys can tell me later if I did. And then I want to find 20% of this. So I'm going to set up another graphic organizer here. So I have 100, I have 20. The original price of the coffee was $3.25. And we're going to cross multiply and divide. So give me just a second. I can't use my phone as a calculator because my phone is recording this right now. So just is what it is. All right, so we're looking at 65 cents for that tip. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the original cost. You're gonna add the tax because that's something that you have to pay for. You're gonna add the tip as well because that is also something that you have to pay for. We're gonna add it all up. Okay, $4.18. So Mr. Anchor is going to pay $4.18 for his coffee. I don't really have enough space for a sentence, but when you do your assignment today, you're gonna write a complete sentence for each problem. All right, next up we have Mr. Breer. Mr. Breer went to buy a pair of new Air Force Ones, which are $115. He has a 20% off coupon and he will be charged 10% sales tax. What will be his total with the discounted tax? Now guys, this is different, okay? You apply the discount first. Then you take the new price after the discount to pay your sales tax. You don't want to pay sales tax on the $115 because that's not how much you paid for the shoes. You want to pay the sales tax on what those shoes are actually costing Mr. Breer. Okay, so let's set up our first set of proportions here. Okay, we got 20% off. So I'm going to find that real quick on my piece of paper. Okay, so that's $23. Okay, so what we're gonna do first is we're gonna take that $115 and we're gonna subtract 23, okay? Because we know that when we mark down something, the price decreases. We just talked about that above. Okay, so the new price of the shoes is $94. Now to find our tax, we're gonna plug it in here, guys. We're not gonna use that original price because that's not how much we're paying for the shoes. Okay, so let me go ahead and find, oh, I'm sorry, sales tax is 10%. Let me change that to a 10. All right, so that's gonna be $9.20. Now we take how much the shoes are gonna cost Mr. Breer, the $92, and then we're going to add the sales tax, because remember we owe sales tax, we have to pay that. All right, so if this was your homework assignment or the trimester final, you would need to answer in a complete sentence, but I'm out of room. So we can say that the Air Force Ones are going to cost Mr. Breer $101.20, and that's after the discount and sales tax, okay? All right, let's review simple interest. This is the one that drums to its own beat, okay? So you have interest is the I, principal is the P, R is the rate, and T is the time. Okay, so it says Mrs. Peterson deposits $2,000 into an account that earns 5% simple interest. How much is Mrs. Peterson's investment worth after 8 years? So we're gonna lay out our equation, our formula here. Interest is equal to principal. Right here, $2,000, that's the original investment, times the rate, which is right here. We need to change it to a decimal, times the time, which is 8 years. Okay, that's gonna get us our interest. So let me go ahead and do the math on this. You guys are probably so much faster than me because you have your calculators in your hand. All right, $800, you guys. So the interest is $800. That is not how much the investment is worth. That's how much it's gone up by. So we want to take the original amount of the investment, which is $2,000, and we're going to add the interest that's been earned to get the total. All right, so $2,800 is the amount of her investment now. It's how much it's worth now, okay? All right, do not lose this because we're gonna keep using it. So please don't throw it away. Please don't leave it at home. Put it in your binder, okay? Your homework today is on paper. It's front and back. When you are finished, you can check your solutions. The solutions are linked on the daily agenda slide. If you have any questions, you can email me. You can ask Mrs. Lakey. Just let us know. All right, guys, have a great day.